At 1:20 a.m., there was a sudden change in Kaneko Toshio's condition. Come back to life! Come back to life!
Say Hello to Blackjack, Episode 4, Summer's Cloud.
I know this is difficult, but it's the unfortunate truth. The chance your father will regain consciousness is now remote. His heart is beating again, but between his already existing hepatic insufficiency, as well as a loss of oxygen due to cardiac failure, his brain cells have received excessive damage. For right now, we're keeping him as comfortable as we can. But the both of you are going to need to put serious thought into what we should do next. It's quite possible, by the time a week passes, that...
Why didn't you let him die, Dr. Saito? You even performed a peritoneal dialysis after I told you not to. I already went over this with you. Life support is a waste of taxpayer money.
Dr. Shiratori, what's wrong with a doctor trying to save a patient's life?
I've seen 100 patients like this. Those who are meant to die should be taken care of quietly and with respect.
You're saying I should just shut up and watch him die?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Dr. Shiratori, Saito, if you could come in here for a moment.
We don't have any experience with these sorts of things. This is all too much to deal with. Please, we need you to tell us what we should do.
I know this is difficult for you, but please, let us turn off the life support.
Oh.
Grandpa. Please tell me. Are you really alright with everything ending like this? July 6th. It's been 3 days since the life support was turned off. Grandpa, your daughter and her family don't visit you anymore. They paid 100,000 yen for your surgery. But now that they know you're gonna die, they won't even come to visit. What was the point of it all? Was the 100,000 yen some sort of farewell gift?
Oh, excuse me, Doctor. I'm just coming through.
What are you doing?
Oh, this? Even if the patient's unconscious, he still gets dirty and needs to be washed. It doesn't matter if anyone comes to see him or not. I'm sure if you were unconscious, you'd still like to be taken care of. Right?
It's growing.
Doctor?
His beard. It's growing. I can't know what Grandpa wants, but his body is fighting to stay alive. His hair is growing. As a patient, Grandpa is doing his job. He's struggling to recover. As a doctor, my job...
Doctor,
Even if the chance of recovery is only 1%, it's wrong to terminate care at the convenience of the hospital.
If you do nothing, the patient dies. If he's going to die anyway, you might as well open his stomach. It's better than doing nothing. You abandon that patient. You're a doctor. Whether you're a novice or inexperienced, to the patients, you are a doctor.
I am a doctor.
What is it, Dr. Saito? Something wrong?
Please let me do a peritoneal dialysis and a blood transfusion on Kaneko-san. I beg you. Please let me turn the life support back on.
How many times do I have to repeat myself? Meaningless life support is a societal evil. You just want to take all these actions to satisfy yourself. We won't spend money to fill your ego, so you can stop bowing.
When I first saw you operating on Kaneko-san, I was moved. I thought if I ever got sick, I'd want a doctor like you performing the surgery. What were you thinking while you worked on Kaneko-san? If you were thinking that he was going to die anyways, why were you so careful?
I'm a surgeon. I take pride in my work.
It's because you wanted to save that old man's life. It's true. The cost of life support is high. But even if the chance is only 1%, a doctor tries to save the patient in his care.
Don't be ignorant. Doctors like that are killing the system.
Then what about you? You did a meaningless operation and wasted healthcare money.
It was the professor's orders. It wasn't my choice.
That's not a fair answer. If the professor told you to eat shit...
I'm prepared for anything. I will become a professor at this university no matter what it takes. Once I'm a professor, I'll change the university. Then I'll rework our regional hospitals, and then I'll help fix the Japanese healthcare system. In the end, that will save many more people.
No, I'm not interested in that kind of logic. The patient. What do you think of the patient? Don't you want to save him, Doctor? I'm restarting the peritoneal dialysis and blood transfusions. The patient has a primary care doctor. That doctor is me. On July 7th, Kaneko-san's peritoneal dialysis and blood transfusions were restarted.
Doctor, come on. Grab the sheets. Jeez. You doctors always make the nurses do everything.
Oh, did you shave Kaneko-san's beard?
Had to. He's got to look respectable for when his kids come over, doesn't he?
Grabbie, grabbie, grabbie! Grabbie, 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 grabbie! I made you a card! I'm a rocket jet!
Oh, let me help you with those sheets. I hope Grandpa hasn't been giving you too much trouble.
Of course not. He's been a model patient. Though, he's a poor conversationalist. Isn't that right, Grandpa?
Well, he hasn't changed much in that regard. Even when Dad was at his best, it was always a struggle to drag more than a couple of sentences out of him.
We're leaving Jupiter! We're passing us I'm not a rocket! Dad! Tell you I'm not a rocket!
We talked about this, Kazue. Yuto can be a rocket if he wants to be. He has a different way of playing than you do. But that doesn't make his way wrong.
We finished Kaneko-san's care less than an hour ago, and immediately afterward, his family came back to visit him. Dr. Shiratori, I don't know whether this old man wants to live or not, but look at how much life there is in his family. Look at how much they want him to live, too. On July 10th at 1:05 in the morning, Kaneko Toshio's heart failed a second time, and he died. He was my first patient.
I think this is it.
Yes, this is all of his belongings. Thank you very much.
I'm very sorry. If only I were a better doctor.
Doctor, when Grandpa collapsed, we wanted him to live very much. So we paid the professor 100,000 yen. But what would we do if he could never get out of bed? We both work full-time jobs. The idea of needing to care for Grandpa scared us. So when you said you were turning off the life support, we felt too guilty to come to the hospital. Grandpa died a good death. Thank you for taking care of him up until the end.
There's no good or bad way to die. When you die, it's all the same. I wasn't able to save that patient.
Dr. Saito, are you going to continue doing this over and over? In the future, you're going to have countless patients like this. I must admit, this case, it upset me considerably. I can only imagine how things are going to be for you from here on out.
Yes, it's Dr. Saito. I was wondering if I could do the part-time job again.
You've been listening to Say Hello to Blackjack, Episode 4, Summer's Cloud, based on the manga by Shuho Sato, featuring the voice talents of Jonathan Russo as Saito, Robert Garapi Sr. as Professor Kasukabe, Jeffrey Norman Bourbeau as Dr. Shiratori, Lynn Travers as Kaneko-san's daughter, Lisa Oslovsky as the nurse, John Michael Garapi as the director, and Brian Higgins as Kaneko-san's son. The music you are listening to now is Octobusiness by the Anti-Jaded Palm Quartet. Scripted, directed, and edited by John Michael Garapi. This Say Hello to Blackjack audio play was made as a part of the Nerd Fountain family. To learn more, go to sayhellotoblackjack.com. You can help donate to us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/sayhellotoblackjack. Subscribe to Say Hello to Blackjack feed on iTunes so as not to miss episode 5. And if you liked this episode, please share it with your friends. And thanks for listening.